Well, it's a Super Bowl Sunday special coming at you right now on the Chuckwagon Cowboy Show. Well, howdy y'all, and welcome to a Super Bowl special episode of the Chuckwagon Cowboy Show, hosted by yours truly, Chef Ron Locke. Super Bowl, that's right, football's biggest events coming up this week, and we got two great teams that are going to be going head to head. We got the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens going to be mixing it up on the field. And you know, even if your team didn't make it this year, like mine didn't apparently, oh well, but you know, it's still a great time to get together on Super Bowl, some fun events. You got great field action, you got some good halftime stuff going on, you got good friends, you got drinks are flowing, and you know what's most important there, besides all that, you got some great food. Now come on, you know, we all love the food spreads at these events that we go to, these parties. And who doesn't love good food, right? Especially these appetizers and these kind of Super Bowl type foods. Those are the best. Those comfort foods are great. Now, in honor of New Orleans, which is the hosting city of this year's Super Bowl, we're going to do a little southern appetizer for you on this special episode. I think you all are going to really like. Now, what are we going to be doing for you, right? Well, we're going to be doing for you stuffing poppers with apple cranberry pesto. Don't that sound good? We're going to walk you through this step by step. It's really simple to do. It really involves a couple key ingredients, and these key ingredients for this episode are actually leftovers from my last night's dinner. And I'll show you how easy this is. If you plan this right, you can have a great Saturday night meal before the Super Bowl day, and then use these leftovers to do a great appetizer that we're going to show you, all right? So, all right, enough about me yakking, right? Let's get over and show you those ingredients, right? All right. In our Super Bowl roundup of ingredients for this week, we're going to go ahead and start off with some leftover stuffing. And I told you that some of these ingredients are leftovers from my last night's dinner. I made a chicken dinner last night and had some leftover stuffing and some leftover apple cranberry sauce that I'm going to show you here in a second. And those are the two key ingredients for this particular appetizer. So saying, if you plan this right, you could do a great dinner on Saturday night and have these already in hand for this appetizer for your Super Bowl. All right, and if you're not hosting a party, chances are you're probably going to one and can bring these as well. All right, so anyway, that's where this stuffing comes in, and I would say that's probably about 2 to 3 cups. All right, then next here we've got 2 eggs that have been beaten up, and also in these eggs we've got 2 teaspoons of milk, and I've just incorporated that to make it a little easier here. All right, so we've got here 1 cup. Here, 1 cup of my apple cranberry sauce, okay? And that is real simple. If you want to make that, I'll just tell you real quick how to do that. You get 1 14-ounce can of gelled cranberries. You can either do the gel or the ones with the skins in them if you want. If you're doing your own, it's probably going to be, I would say, about 2 cups, all right? And then you're going to go ahead and use 1 cup of apple sauce, yeah, 1 cup of applesauce. I'm looking at these ingredients here. 1 cup of applesauce to 1 14-ounce can of cranberry sauce. Just go ahead and mix those up. Now what you want to do is go ahead and put that in the refrigerator for at least a couple hours to chill a little bit and to get those flavors congealing with each other, all right? And then after that, what you just want to do is just bring it back out for about a half an hour, let it go to room temperature before you start this recipe. Same with the stuffing as well, all right? All right, so that's our apple cranberry sauce there that I always make up. I love it, I love it. You should, even you don't try this recipe, give that a shot. I think you're going to like that, all right, if you've never had that before. All right, next up we got here 1 cup of seasoned breadcrumbs. Now, if you can find the kind with some Romano cheese sprinkled in there, that's the ticket. That's the ticket. There's a brand out there that has that, but any seasoned breadcrumbs will do for you on that, all right? We've got here a 1/2 cup of pecans, and those pecans, you can just get the halve, that's fine. If you want to get the crushed or the smaller version, that's fine too. We're going to be putting these in a food processor in a bit, so that's going to go ahead and take care of that as far as getting those all nicely crushed up. But if you want to find the smaller crushed up versions, that's fine. You can just use that as well. But a 1/2 cup right here of the halved pecans, all right? And then lastly, real simple here, lastly we got 2 teaspoons of finely ground black pepper. And that's it. That is our ingredient roundup. Very simple ingredients, a very simple recipe. When we come back, we're going to start making this fantastic stuffing poppers with apple cranberry pesto. So you want to come back and check this out, all right? Come on back.
You are watching WYE the Network.
Well, alright folks, we're back, and since you've been gone, we went ahead and took our stuffing out of our bowl here and put it on our cutting board. And that's one of the first things you're going to want to get, is a cutting board or some type of surface that you can lay your stuffing on. I'll show you how that's all going to work in just a second, but I just want to tell y'all, just again, just talking about kitchen cleanliness, just make sure your kitchen environment's nice and clean. We're going to be actually using my hands on this in just a second, so I'm going to go wash my hands right now. But you always want to make sure that your hands are nice and clean before you start working with your food, alright? Alright. There we go. Clean hands. Can't roll my sleeves up this week because I got short sleeves on with the jersey, so we're all good to go. That's one less step I have to do. So, I've got my leftover stuffing here from last night. Now, the object of what I want to do here is I want to spread this out. It's going to be kind of like how you spread dough out. I want to get this to about 1 inch thickness because I want my cubes to be 1 inch and all the way around. I want to cut my cubes up diagonally and horizontally 1 inch apart, and also I want the thickness 1 inch too. So, you know, you don't need a ruler for this. You can kind of just judge, you know. So just go ahead and take your stuffing out here like so, and just push it out. Push it out. I try to get it kind of square if I can, like so. And you can get a feel for it, okay? I don't know if y'all know what a popper is. In the food term, a popper is something that you just pop in your mouth. It's like a little appetizer. They've got tons of like cheese poppers and all kinds of them that are out there. And so just kind of imagine when you're doing this with your leftover stuffing about the size, a 1 inch size that you'd like to serve to your family, friends, and loved ones. All right. So as we go here, again, I'm just kind of shaping and molding, kind of like dough here. And you gotta push down a little bit to get it there. See a little artwork in food sometimes, you know? Gotta, there. I'm not gonna get too exact here, but that's pretty close, you know? You could spend a good 10 minutes doing this if you really wanted to be particular about it, but I don't want to get this too thinned out either, alright? And that's a good representation right there. Alright, that's close to having and sides here that are nice and straight, or almost straight anyway. Alright, so we've got that. Let me wash my hands again because I'm going to be using a knife here in just a second. We're going to be cutting up our stuffing poppers here in our 1 inch cubes, which is real simple here. Now if you want to get the kids involved, you can actually have the kids go and play around in that stuffing too if you want. I know when I was growing up and such, a lot of this kind of stuff, you know, my mom was sort of like, get over here, you know, and go ahead and play with the food. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of fun to do as a kid. So, I don't know, maybe introduce that to some of your children as well. It's a great way of getting them into the culinary world too, alright? Alright, so we've got our stuffing here laid out into a nice little, somewhat of a square rectangle here. Now just get yourself a nice sharp knife here. You want to go ahead and just kind of judge, and by, again, you don't need to take out a tape measure and measure this, but kind of judge about 1 inch across and going across. So let's see here. This is probably about 1 inch here. Yeah, about that. Roughly. And you're just going to go diagonally down like this. Again, the objective here is to get 1 inch cubes. So that's what we're doing, alright? Like I said, it doesn't have to be exact, but you know, just eyeball it. There we go. Just like that. Okay. And then we're just going to go across like this. Like so. Okay. Now the stuffing will have a tendency to stick a little bit because there's a lot of gluten in there with the Well, in my particular recipe, there's bread and there's also the stuffing mix itself. So the gluten is going to, especially when it's at room temperature, is going to make this stick. And you want to get this close to room temperature as possible because in the frying stage, we want to make sure that it heats up and browns quickly. All right, I'll get to that when we get over to the frying stage here over on the stovetop in just a bit. All right, so that's close. You know, like I said, you know, just eyeball. They don't have to be perfectly, but you know, get a good representation. The goal here is that you want to have these engulfed with a toothpick, because that's how you're going to be dipping them with. Is, you know, I serve them with toothpicks. So, you know, just kind of look. You know, you don't want them too big, and people ain't going to be able to pop them in their mouth, because that's what this is all about. You know, it's a one-bite shot generally, and you dip it in the sauce we're going to make for you in a bit. So again, you just want to make sure that you get a good size, just enough that people can just, you know, do a one shot like that. So there you go, right there. There are our squares. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and do a little dredging and a little dipping. Now, I'll explain that when we come back, all right? See you in a bit. Well, all right, we're back, and we're going to go ahead and do a little dredging and a little battering here of these fine cubes of our stuffing that we just finished up for you here, 1-inch pieces that we have. Now, let me go ahead and move this on over and introduce to you our egg wash and our breadcrumbs. Now, I'm going to go ahead right now and wash my hands because I'm going to be playing in the food again. It's this good recipe for playing around in the food. And like I said, I'll tell you what, I think I probably did more of that growing up than probably eating it sometimes. Alright, so we've got our egg wash and our breadcrumbs. Now what we're going to do is take our 1-inch stuffing cubes that we just cut up for y'all, and we're just going to go ahead and introduce those into the egg wash here, like so. Like that. Make sure you got a good coating on, just like that. Alright, and then just go ahead and dredge these into the mix. Now make sure you get a good coating on these. I'll explain that in a bit, but it's very important that these are not very liquidy when they go into the oil. Now see, there you go. I think my cameraman can get that right there. That's what you want, fully covered. And then just get yourself another plate to set these on, all right? We're going to go ahead and just keep doing this here. We've got, I don't know, probably 15 to 20 more to go. And don't want to bore you all about that, but we're going to come back here after I get this all done, and we're going to set these aside for a bit. When I do that, then we're going to go ahead and show you how to prepare our apple cranberry pesto. All right, so come on back. Well, all right, we're back, and I just wanted to show y'all on the break how your first stage breading of your stuffing poppers are going to look like when you're done. So we've got that there. We're going to go ahead and set them aside. So now we're going to go ahead and start making our apple cranberry pesto. Now if you don't know what pesto is, I'm going to give you a little tip of what that is, a little hint of what that is. Now pesto is an Italian sauce that's usually used on pasta. It's usually kind of green in nature, and a traditional pasta would include such ingredients as crushed pine nuts, crushed garlic, some cheese, a little olive oil, and also some basil. That's pretty much your traditional Italian pesto. Now there's various kinds of pestos as well, more sauces as well as dipping sauces and other kinds of sauces you would put on things. Now we're going to be creating a fruit pesto for you today, our apple cranberry pesto, which is going to be used as a dipping sauce for our fried stuffed poppers. Alright, so let's go ahead and start getting that together now, shall we? Now we're going to go ahead and introduce to you our 1 cup of our apple cranberry sauce. Now, you want to do this in a food processor. Like that. The reason is because you've got pecans that I'm going to introduce here in just a second that need to be crushed up. Like I said, you can get the crushed kind, but you really kind of want them pulverized within this pesto. That's what a pesto is. It usually contains some sort of a nut that's crushed into the whole other ingredient process here. So you want these pecans to really just give a flavor to it. You don't want to really have too much of a crunch to this, alright? So with that, speaking of that, we're going to add in our pecans right now. Try to go ahead and get that in. That's a half a cup. And lastly, we've got 2 teaspoons of finely ground black pepper. This is going to give it a really unique flavor. Alright? This is going to give this a very unique flavor. Add that in like that. Just a little bit goes a long way with that, trust me. Alright, so we've got all that. We're going to go ahead and put our food processor lid on. You want to go ahead and first pulse this out, and then just, you can go to grind later if you want. I just keep pulsing it until I see a consistency where the pecans have been pretty much pulverized. Alright, so that's all we're going to do here. Bear the noise for a second. Okay, you can see it's starting to get pulverized now. Okay, at this point what you want to do is go ahead and get yourself a spatula. Take your top off. Be careful, there might be a little spillage here. There we go, like so. And just go ahead and scrape off the top here, because this really gets into everything. Okay, like that. And you want to scrape down the sides like this as well. Okay, because you want all this to get really, really finely chopped. Alright, a little bit there. Okay, just like that. Put you off to the side here. Just a second here. Alright, we'll get our top back on. Just keep grinding this. It'll take about another minute or so here when the grinding is done. That's it. Okay. And like I said, it's probably about another 15-20 seconds we'll be done here, alright? Alright. Here we go. Make sure, that's why you want to make sure you get all the pecan halves completely chewed up in here, crushed down. Alright, let me take a look at this. Get my spatula here again. Wash this off real quick. Let's take a look and see what this looks like. Oh yeah, this is great. Okay. This consistency is where you want to be. Now I'm going to try to show the camera here what this looks like. Okay. Alright. Let me set the top down here. Okay. Now, let me see if I can do this. Alright, go to my camera 1 and see if you can see if I can hold this up a little bit. This is what you end up with, and I'll show you later, but that's kind of what you end up with. This right here, that kind of a consistency. Something like that. Okay, there we go. Get the light on there. Something like that, a nice thick consistency. Okay, but I'll do a better demonstration here for you in a little bit after we go ahead and do our final presentation. You'll see everything laid out, alright? So, right there. Alright, so that's your apple cranberry pesto completed. Now we're going to set that aside. So now we've got our stuffing popper set aside. We've got our apple cranberry pesto set aside now. Now we're going to go mosey on over to our stovetop here in the next segment, and we're going to get ourselves some deep frying going. Alright, so come on back. Well, alright, we're back, and we're going to go ahead and start deep frying our stuffing poppers. Now the first thing you want to do is get yourself a large skillet, like I have right here on the stove, and then go ahead and put in about 2 cups of canola oil in your skillet. Now if it's a non-stick skillet, you can go ahead and start that out cold with just a little bit and then add the rest of it in as it heats up. If it's a regular pan that doesn't have a Teflon or non-stick bottom, you want to heat the pan up a little bit first before you put that oil in, because if you don't, what's going to happen is that oil is going to start warming up cold and it's going to break down a lot faster and burn. So just a little tip from me to you on that, alright? Now a little tip to see if our oil is ready is I get a little wooden skewer like this and I'll put it in to see if I get bubbles. And I'm seeing bubbles, yep, there we go. I don't know if the camera can catch that, I think so. Alright, when I see bubbles, when I put this in, that means we're ready to roll. Alright, so that's what we're going to do right now. So, what I'm going to do is wash my hands real quick here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to need my hands to help with this portion of our recipe. Alright. So I'm going to take my slotted spoon here, and I'm just going to go ahead and start dropping my squares in. I just go ahead and pick them up and put them on the spoon like so, and just add them in, like that. You see how I do that? See how easy that is? Just like that. Alright, this is a perfect temperature. It's not going crazy. Alright, you see how I'm just dropping them in like that? I'm just going to leave it over like this. Now you don't want to put too many in at a time. You don't want to crowd these, because if you crowd these, what's going to happen is that you're going to cool down the oil, and then all that oil is going to start getting into our food, and we don't want that. We want these seared and nicely browned. This is only going to take about 4 minutes to complete. And I'm probably going to put about 8 to 10 of these in here, and so that's what I'm doing here. I don't want to get too many in. Boy, I'll tell you, it don't take long at all to get these brown. That's about as many as I think I'm going to put in. Maybe one more, and then we're going to go. And I can already smell that browning. The nice thing about the spoon too is you can kind of turn and guide these around like this. See how fast that is? Look at that. It don't take long at all. It really don't. And you don't want to burn these at all either. So, you know, you just got to get a nice deep coating like that. It don't take long. It don't take long. Look at that. Look at that. Yep, just like that. Yeah, you don't want to. I can't get that one turned over. There we go. You don't want to wait too long. You got to keep turning these too. You don't want to walk away from this. Definitely, this is not something you want to walk away from, because what will happen is they will obviously burn quickly, and we don't want them burnt. We just want them nicely golden brown like that. You see that? All right, this one probably could turn over a bit. All right, I'll bet you probably about another 30 seconds to a minute, and we're going to be all set here. Let's start looking at these here. It won't take long. Yep, that one's done. Nope, a little bit more on that one. You see, it doesn't take very long. But look how easy this is. If you do some really good guidelines with your pan and your oil to get it started, it's really quick, really fast. Now I have this on medium setting. You don't want to go any hotter than that. All right, just the medium setting. But this is something that's really fast and quick. And like I said, you just got to keep checking it. You don't want to overdo it. Okay, there we go. Just like that. Now you see, you don't hear any splattering, no spitting. It's a nice controlled oil here that we have in this pan. It's doing great, doing just great. Now, 2 cups of oil is generally about a ½ inch in this pan. ½ inch to 3/4. That's all you want. You don't want these swimming in it. You just want enough to go maybe about halfway up, and that's what we're doing. So we're just making sure we get all the sides and everything like that. This is looking great, guys. This is looking great. All right. I do believe we're ready to go ahead and start taking these and putting these on. I have here a plate with a couple of my paper napkins on here. And you just want these to drain off, all right? And that's what we're going to do here. is just let these drain off. Boy, I'm telling you what, these smell fantastic. Let me tell you. But I can't, it's like, I want to talk to y'all, but you just can't because this goes really fast. And so you just got to make sure you get them here real quick. All right. Well, there you go. Just like that. Make sure you use a slotted spoon to let the oil drip out. You see how I'm doing that? Real nice and easy. Real nice and easy. Just like that. All right. Nice and golden brown. That's perfect right there. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I've got some more I'm going to finish up here, and then when we come back I'm going to go ahead and show you our final presentation of our stuffed poppers with apple cranberry pesto, and maybe I might take a little bite of that before all is said and done here. Alright, so come on back. Well, alright, did you just see the wonderful presentation that we had with our stuffing poppers, with our apple cranberry pesto? Wasn't that wonderful? Did that look good? Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead now and go over to our presentation plate. We got a couple pieces here on some toothpicks here, and we got a little bit of our pesto sauce on our plate here as well. And we're going to go ahead and just sneak a little bite and just see how this turned out, alright? So I'm going to grab one here. Which one? I think I will grab this one right here, dip this into this sauce here, like so. Grab my napkin so I don't drop it, and let's see how it turned out. Folks, I just love this recipe. That is so yee haw yum! Let me tell you, stuffing is interesting. It's a great side dish. You deep fry stuffing, like we just did here in these cube sizes, oh my goodness. You've got such a nice, crispy, and sweet golden brown crust on these things. You've got such a great flavor on the inside. It's so moist. This all locks that moistness in when you deep fry this. And this pesto, this apple cranberry pesto that we've got here is fantastic. You can taste the pecans, you can taste the apple and the cranberry all infused together. It's a nice dipping sauce that complements this really well. I guarantee you, you try this, you bring this to your Super Bowl party, you are never going to get stopped from people asking you to make it year after year after year. Trust me. Give it a shot, will you? Alright. Well, that's the end of our Super Bowl special episode that we had for you here today. Now, I want to tell you, whatever team wins, everybody's a winner. Alright? From the chef here, Chef Ron Locke, what do I say at this time? Get off that couch and get cooking. We'll see you next time.